What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me doing the top 10 best non-festival characters for PVE and PvP. We're gonna be doing two separate lists here. I have them both pulled up here, and we're gonna be doing the top 10 best units that were not festival characters that released in 2022. This is including collab characters, by the way, guys. I did make sure to include collabs. I was thinking to if I don't want to include them or not, but I felt we might as well include them, especially for like the PvP side. I don't know if you would have like a strong enough list, so yeah, I definitely added them to the list here. And yeah, guys, we're gonna be doing the top 10 best non-festival characters. So before we actually hop into the video, make sure to subscribe to your boy Amazing. We are on the road to 35,000 subscribers, guys. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, man, definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button. I think it's like 55% of you guys are still not subscribed on the channel and just be watching the videos, so hit the subscribe button, man, and tune in for future videos on Grand Cross, anything Grand Cross related. Alright, guys, so let's hop in to the first one, being the PvE tier list here, the top 10 best PvE characters in the game. Okay, so first things first, let's start with the number 10 slot. The number 10 slot, in my opinion, is going to be, where is she? Green Melascula, unfortunately. The reason why Green Melascula is in the number 10 is because she is actually going to be a character that can increase basic stats. I think she gives you a 20% basic stat increase for having 100% lifesteal, and we can actually pull up GC database. I'll show the characters too when we talk about them. But like Green Melascula, the reason why she's so good is just because of the fact that she's able to provide a free 20% basic stat increase, but she has to be on the field. Right, she had to be on the field for sure. Another thing too is that she's immune to ignite, so automatically she's a character that, you know, when you're using her in like Skull and Haughty, she's one of the 3 characters you can use as a ignite blocker on Skull and Haughty, and she is really good because of that. And so for that, I'm gonna give her the number 10 slot. I think, you know, the value she provides with her passive. Also, she has gauge reduction. She has a really strong barrier as well. When you do get big basic stats, you can apply it. And yeah, I mean, Melascula is fairly solid, man. Green Melascula is fairly good. The only thing she really lacks is CC. But in PvE content, CC doesn't necessarily matter too much. So there's that. Alright, guys, the next character on the list is going to be Ragnarok Bond. Ragnarok Bond I only have here because his backline support. You're not really using Bond in the front, but in PvE content, if you're running a backline, he is like a staple backline, man. Just increase attack related stats by 10% and decrease enemies pierce rate, crit chance, and crit damage is just really strong. That backline alone, I think, is just worthwhile for Bond, so I think he is worth in the number 9 slot for the top 10 PvE characters in the game. Moving on, we have Red Tarmiel. So Red Tarmiel, as a PvE character, he is very strong as a Link, but I more so is like thinking about his on-field value. I mean, as a Link, he's really strong, but there's not like too many things in PvE, like, I mean, that would warrant a Red Tarmiel Link that's like super important. I mean, the only one I can really think of off the top of my head would be on Skull and Haughty on your Thonar, and that's about it. Other than that, there isn't really much other, like, you know, PvE Tarmiel Link usage that you're really gonna like benefit a ton from. Red Tarmiel Link on the field though is really strong in Guild Boss. He is a staple character in there. If you're going to be getting any high scoring Guild Boss on a Goddess team comp, you're using Red Tarmiel, and he is definitely part of it. But as a Link in PvE, I don't really see as much value as I would in PvP for Red Tarmiel, and so for the PvE side of things, I'm going to give him the number 8 slot. Moving on, guys, for the number 7 slot, we have Rimuru. So Rimuru in PvE is actually still a solid PvE character. He has things that he can do that are like, you know, the Abyss Ultimate and ways he can cheese content. You know, the SA Queen Dungeon, just like how Festival King was able to do it, he can do that. He can cheese Skull and Haughty with his, you know, Abyss Ultimate as well. Like if you guys have seen like Merly's video covering it, I was gonna make a video myself, but I didn't get the chance to do it. But Rimuru like can hit the ultimate on the 2nd phase of Skull and Haughty, and then on the 3rd phase the Abyss hits again, and it does like more than half the the HP of the bosses, sometimes even one-shotting them. So, you know, there's some scenarios where you can cheese PvE content with Rimuru, and there is some value with that. And I think his buff removal in PvE is fairly strong too. And if you have a duped up Rimuru, he's gonna be like a very, very long-term valuable character in your box. And so I definitely think he's really worthwhile. And yeah, man, that's going to be the number 7 slot. For the number 6 slot, we got Scotty here. Scotty is a very, very strong character, guys. If you've seen Scotty Holy Relic and what it's able to do, Scotty's able to get, I think it's up to, what is it, 16% all stats, if I'm not mistaken. I forget exactly what it is. Let me pull it up. Because Scotty's Holy Relic is really, really strong. Yeah, increase all stats by 6%, so you get 18%, so even more than I was saying. So up to 3 times if there are no debuffs on the hero. So basically, if you have Scotty and you do 2 of her buff removal cards and then you do her debuff card that debuffs herself, you're gonna get her full passive instantly stacked up, and or full Holy Relic, I should say. And you know, she's super strong because of that, man. I think she's a staple character, and you know, she's one of the must-have run characters on Skull and Hottie nowadays, if you're trying to clear it. And I think the benefit in her passive, where she's able to give you skill damage as well, I think is super valuable. Like, you know, lowering the enemy's attack and defense, and then the skill damage dealt is really important in my opinion. I think it definitely does help in Skull and Hottie runs, and you can really feel it, man. I think Scotty definitely gives you a big buff. And then obviously, you know, she has some guild boss usage as well. And just general PvE content, she's really good just for lowering the boss's attack and defense. So I think she's going to be a very solid character, and because of that, we're giving her the number 6 slot. Alright guys, so now we're getting up to the niche characters, and then also the universal characters too. It depends, but we're gonna talk about it, okay? So the next character we have on the list, Summer Diane. So Summer Diane isn't a character that's like super universal, but for the job she's able to do, she is the best character for like demons as a supportive character. If you guys don't know what Summer Diane does, let me just pull her up. She is so good, man. Let's see here. Summer Diane. So Summer Diane's passive is going to increase all allies' ranks, skill ranks at the start of the allies' turn if the allies in deathmatch are all of different race. So that's automatically like a W. You don't even need mono red. You just need different race characters. So you can run this in any deathmatch like activity they release in the future. So there has been like some bosses like that they've had for events, like, you know, you can use this Summer Diane on there with, you know, like a green Gother and a DPS, and boom, you automatically gain the attack related stats, and you automatically have, you know, the basic stat 30% and debuff immunity for two turns as well. Like, that's just super strong, right? And then limit 1 heroes with the additional races will be counted as dual race heroes. Perfect. So yeah, like Summer Diane, because of that, is really strong. She has amplify single target, power strike, AoE, and then her ultimate is going to be a damage dealt increase too. So I think because of that, and because of this, her usage in any deathmatch that obviously isn't like a hell deathmatch that's required for like a thing. You know, if it's like Hell Red Demon, you can't run her. But if it's like any like deathmatch in general, that's like a universal deathmatch, she is going to be a staple character on there. For sure, right? So yeah, that is going to be my number 5 slot right there. Now we're in the top 4 characters in PvE, guys. So in the number 4 slot, we're going to be putting Thonar. Thonar is the main character for Skull and Hottie. But the one thing that I really dislike about Thonar is that she's not like as good as Jormungand for the activity she's meant to be doing. Okay, so for in Skull and Hottie, increase heroes damage dealt with their ultimate move by 200% because she has a really bad ultimate, so they had to give her that. Increase allies damage dealt with single target attacks by 30%, which is strong. Increases allies attack related stats by 30% for 3 turns every 3 times they inflict damage on the enemy. And then I don't think GC Database has her Holy Relic, but her Holy Relic increases her HP related every time she does a skill up to 40%, and then she also gives a gauge every time she does a skill as well. So she's really good, but I don't think she's as good as Jormungand. So I'm actually going to put Jormungand right there as well. So I think Jormungand is number 3. in terms of PvE content. Obviously, they're very niche characters, guys, but having Jormungand and Thonar is just like must-have characters on your account. Honestly, they are must-have characters for PvE, specifically with the demonic beast battles, because Jormungand is the best character for the deer, and Thonar, unfortunately, is the best character for dogs. The one thing that I really dislike about Thonar, though, is because her ultimate is basically just wasted. You know, obviously it is increased by 200%, so it does do damage. But I feel like her ultimate, if it was a brand new character that released, like the way they did with like Jormungand was built for deer, whereas Thonar, like the other Thonar, wasn't really made for Skull and Hati. They just made her kit around Skull and Hati. But I feel like if they released a brand new like character instead of Thonar, and like the characters all like let's say it was like Freya or something, right? And then like the ultimate was like, oh, you know, like heal the allies or something when you do damage or something like that. Something like that would have been a lot better than just weak point on the ult. So, you know, I see a lot more value in Jormungand for her demonic beast respectively versus Thonar, and so I'm gonna give the Jormungand the number 3 spot right there, and I think it is a little bit better in that scenario. So moving on to the number 2 slot, we got Kizuna. So Kizuna is a very, very strong PvE character, guys, with the Rising of the Shield Hero collab. When she released, she was actually, I think, meta on the final boss that came out after she released, like literally like a week or two, or after the Rising of the Shield Hero left, there was a final boss that Kizuna was just a staple character on, man. If you guys don't know what she does, in PvE, increases own skill ranks and remove debuffs from allies if the hero deals damage to the enemy with the skill during the allies turn. And then for Holy Relic is when the hero skills are ranked up, increases all allies attack related stats by 30% for 2 turns. The only thing that's with her passive that's a little bit not that good is that she cannot be used in demonic beast battles, but any other PvE content she is fair game. So, you know, there are scenarios you're going to use her in. OG Demon, you're going to use her in, you know, basically any regular PvE content. If you have her, you're going to use her because she has a Arthur buff as well, which is going to remove debuffs, give you basic stats, debuff immunity. Her ultimate is the same as well as I think Summer Diane, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is the same ultimate as well with the damage dealt increase. And then, yeah, she has the Pierce AoE on her first skill. So Kizuna, I think, overall is a very, very strong PvE character. Unfortunately, she cannot be used in Demonic Beast, but if she was able to be used in Demonic Beast, she would actually be the most, like, busted unit for sure. But yeah, I mean, you know, for what she is, I think she is a very solid PvE character and going to be the number 2 slot. For the number 1 slot, guys, we had to slot in Freyr. I think Freyr, in my opinion, is going to be the number 1 best PvE character in the game for 2022 of non-festivals, obviously. Freyr is such a good character in the way he works. He is a support unit. He's a DPS. He does everything, which is so cool. So here we go. So right here, allies become immune to Ignite. So automatically, he is going to be one of the best characters for Skull and Hati, and just a like a character that can, you know, block ignites entirely. Applies Blessing of Light, which increases all the hero stats by 15% for 2 turns at the start of the ally's turn, and then applies the same effect again every 2 turns and increases all stats of allies by 5% for 5 turns whenever Blessing of Light is removed. So every time he reapplies Blessing of Light, he's gonna give your whole team 5% all stats, and you can stack up to, I think it's, you know, since it's every 2 turns, I think you can stack up to 2 all stats. 2 or 3, maybe 3. I'm not too sure on that because it is a 5-turn you know, countdown. So I guess in a sense it is you know, I guess in a sense it is 3. Yeah, I think you actually can do 3. But yeah, so Freyr is just super strong. He acts as a support unit. He's buffing your team with all stats. He's buffing himself with all stats. He has cancel stance single target, which is not anything crazy, but he also does have cleave single target, which is very, very strong. And then this is the first character to have the death ultimate other than the one Escanor that released back in 2020. But you know, like, Freyr is absolutely insane. Having the death ultimate, same as the original, the one Escanor, he is just such a good character. And the fact that he's able to support the team and deal damage himself, I think solidifies him in the number 1 spot for the best 2022 units and in the PvE side of things. So Yeah, man, that's going to be the PvE tier list, guys. Let's move on to the PvP tier list now. So now for the PvP tier list, let's try to, let's kind of move as a little bit quicker this time now that we've gone through it. But let's hop in and discuss the characters. So the first, number 10 is going to be the brand new Valenti, the Mark II, Christmas Valenti. So Christmas Valenti, if you guys don't know, she is a character that is not that bad. But the problem is she released after the 1 ultimate, and you guys know how strong the 1 ultimate is in PvP, and just the fact that he cannot be stat lowered at all basically makes this passive here for Valenti kind of useless. Decrease crit damage of the enemy on the battlefield by 75% of the hero's crit defense. Like, increasing her crit defense is gonna help her, but the decreasing the crit damage of the enemy is not gonna really help as much. So I think right there is kind of a detriment to Valenti, but any other team she's gonna be very strong against. So that's fair game at that point, right? So I think right there, that's fine. Moving on, we have Demon Cusack here. Demon Cusack is one of the better backlines for the Demon team here. So let me just go back to character list and we'll go to Cusack here. But Demon Cusack is a very solid backline for Demon team, in my opinion. I feel like he's the best backline in my opinion, just because he's giving you the crit chance lower and crit damage lower of the enemies on the battlefield, and then increasing attack related ability for demon characters by 4% for each demon on the battlefield, which is very, very strong. He does not have a holy relic yet, so there is improvement that he can gain, and I feel like just by having him in the backline for that crit chance, crit defense lower, or crit damage lower, and then also the attack related stats is just really strong for Demon team. Moving on, guys, we have Ominous Nebula Zeldris for the PvP side of things. Ominous Nebula Zeldris is locked to PvP in terms of his, okay, here we go, Prince, there we go. Prince of Darkness. His passive is locked to PvP, but that's why he is very strong in PvP though. For what it is, in PvP, for every applicable ally on the battlefield, increase those allies' attack related stats by 4% and decreases all enemies attacked by 6%, and applicable allies is gonna be a demon or commandment. So he's gonna get up to, I think it's 16%. No, 12% attack related, and then lower the enemy's attack by, what is that, 18%. So, Ominous Nebula, I think, is a very solid character, and he is honestly at this point, in my opinion, a better slot than Festival Zeldris, because of the amount of requirement for Festival Zeldris you need his Holy Relic, and you need him to have him high dupe so he could be big CC. I feel like Ominous Nebula, regardless of it, he just has natural really high CC. He's a very, very strong PvP character. Pulverize to make sure he reduces gauge. He has gauge reduction. He has Infect AoE, which you guys know how strong Infect AoE is, and for when it came out, it's such a very strong ability. And so, yeah, man, I feel like Ominous Nebula Zeldris can slot in where he is in the, the number 8 slot. Okay, moving on. We have, let's see here. I'm trying to think, because I have my ideas on my right monitor here, but I don't know if I want to change it up a little bit. We'll see. Okay, let's just continue. Ragnarok Bond. We talked about Ragnarok Bond already. He is one of the best backlines in the game. You're running him in the back for the 10% attack related, and then the attack related lower of the enemy, so the crit chance, pierce rate, and crit damage lower. So you guys have already seen his passive when we talked about it in the PvE side of things, so I'll just leave it there. But yeah, Ragnarok Bond is going to be the number 7 slot. Moving on, we do have Echidna here, so I was thinking to either put Echidna or Philo. But I feel like, Philo kind of fell off later in the meta, especially late of the end of the year. But for these lists, guys, I'm definitely thinking of the value the character brought initially on the release, and also, where they are right now in the meta type thing, right? So you gotta kind of, think about that. Echidna, when she released, was fairly strong. I think she was a lot better with Philo on the team as well. So I wanted to put Philo on this tier list, but she's honestly honorable mentions. She has fallen off since Ultimate SNR has come into the meta, but Echidna is still solid on Unknown, and she's going to be a very strong character if you have Nanashi backline with the Holy Relic. So having that, I think Echidna is a solid 6th slot right there for PvP. Moving on, we have Reinhardt. Reinhardt is still very, very crazy in PvP because of the way he works. If you guys don't know the way Reinhardt works, he can basically get any anything can happen with him, man. It's pretty insane. the way his passive works. So randomly applies one of the following effects to the hero for 1 turn at the start of the ally's turn: 50% damage dealt, 25% all stats increase, 1 evade, debuff immunity, or immortality. So he can basically cycle through any of those like buffs right there, and it's insane, man. When he gets his ultimate off too, if he has high dupe levels, he can actually apply multiple of the buffs on his ultimate move level, and you know, the higher the ultimate move, the more amount of buffs. So at 6 out of 6 you get 4 buffs from his passive, like any of those passives from that he could get. And then obviously the Holy Relic increasing the max HP and crit chance whenever like allies use a skill. Very, very strong. And so, you know, Reinhardt right now in the meta is not anything crazy, but I think for what he is, and if you are running him, he is still a solid option in PvP and can definitely still be run. So that's going to be the number 5 slot right there. Moving on, we have Demon Lord Rimuru. Right now, I feel like Demon Lord Rimuru isn't crazy in PvP, but you can still use him on Alt Rush. In Unknown Team with Nanashi backline, he can be a very, very strong character too. And I think because of Nanashi backline recently releasing, I think he is still a very solid PvP character. You know, you're probably gonna get more use out of him than Echidna, honestly. Even though he's not really buffing the team like Echidna is, Demon Lord Rimuru is able to remove buffs and also have infect just like Echidna does anyway. And you know, he's gonna be doing a lot more damage than Echidna is in general when he gets that Pure Straight buff. So yeah, I mean, Rimuru is a very solid character. You know, Abyss ultimate as well for the Alt Rush is still super strong. Like him on like a fraudulent team is still an option as well. So there's that. I mean, Rimuru is just a solid character, man. I think he's still really, really good in PvP, and he can definitely be run. Moving on, we have Red Brunhild. So Red Brunhild is going to be the number 3 slot right there. I think Red Brunhild is super strong in PvP still. Unfortunately, her team has kind of lost some value with Ultimate Esnor releasing, but she is still in my opinion, a meta team you can run in the game. You know, Red Brunhild is still a meta character, and you can definitely run her with the Ragnarok Diane and Sigurd still, and still perform fairly well in PvP. You know, with the way Ragnarok Diane's Holy Relic works to buff this Brunhild in PvP, she can still be a menace, man. She still can hit crazy hard. The only thing that she lacks is that the one ultimate release, and she can't lower his defense and his attack related. So, you know, there isn't really anything that Brunhild can do against that. But other than that, I mean, she's still going to be clearing through PvP teams, and she's going to be a very, very good option. Moving on to the number 2 and the number 1 slot, guys, we have Naofumi in number 2, and I'm just going to automatically put Red Tarmiel in number 1. This is going to be the PvP side of things, in my opinion. I think, like, okay, Naofumi is a very, very strong PvP character, and you can use him, like, right now, and probably win against Ultimate Escanor teams. Because the way Naofumi works is he needs to take damage and get more of those, like, I forgot what they're called. They're, like, curse stacks or whatever, and when he gets enough of those stacks, his AoE can just, like, wipe teams, man. And, you know, with the amount of defense that he's going to have and him scaling off a defense with his entire team, you know, I have Raftalia here, but I didn't put her on the list. But, you know, when you have Raftalia on the team, you can run, like, Blue Tarmiel on the team, Goddess Liz on the team, and you have, like, such a tanky, like, mono blue comp. Like, it's just super strong, man. And Naofumi, till this day, is a very, very good PvP character. In my opinion, the best PvP collab character since the rest of these have come out through 2022. Naofumi is still a menace and can still perform very well in PvP, and so we're gonna give him the number 2 slot, man. And then obviously number 1, Red Tarmiel Link, mainly, not on the field, but Red Tarmiel Link is just, it has to be number 1, man. You guys know how broken Red Tarmiel Link is. I'm gonna pull it up for you guys that don't know how broken it is, but it is one of the most broken links in PvP because of the way it works. So, you know, if we go to Tarmiel here, for his grace is longer than his passive, bro. If the hero's attack during the enemy's turn immediately recovers 30% of damage taken as HP, and then if taking damage twice or more skills in the same turn, enemy in the same turn restricts all skill effects, including ultimate moves of the character for 2 turns. 2-turn block effect, just by attacking into a character with Tarmiel Link. It's just insane, man. Oh, that's the PV list. But yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, man. I think this Tarmiel is just absolutely insane, and this is going to be my PvP tier list for the top 10 best non-festival characters and we also have the top 10 best festival, non-festival characters as well for PvE side of things. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below on the tier list here. If you guys have anything to comment on, let me know. I could have missed like some things here. I think like maybe we could have slotted in, like, you know, maybe Demon Chandler could have slotted in here. You know, there's some honorable mentions. I feel like, you know, Demon Chandler would have been like the honorable mention side. Balasila maybe too in PvP. I don't know. Easton for sure because of her backline. But you know, there's the thing, like things like that. You guys definitely could you know, criticize about the tier list, whatever the case. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of the tier list I was putting up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.